Hey, welcome back, everybody. On this episode, we will be driving from Mom's house in Ohio back to Florida with a few stops along the way. Our first stop was Whiteville, Virginia, and we stopped there for the evening, stayed at the Bowling Wilson Hotel. The Bowling Wilson Hotel was built in 1927 as the George Wythe Hotel, and it operated that way until the 1960s. At that time, then it changed its name to the Bowling Wilson Hotel after the famed citizen who lived in Whiteville of Edith Bowling Wilson, which was Woodrow Wilson's second wife. Super quaint, very nice. You can see that it's definitely a historical. Has a great restaurant downstairs with a bar. You can sit out front on the porch and have your drinks and eat your meals. They also have a rooftop patio where you can take your beverages and just take in the sights of the mountains and the hills and just this old historic town. On the weekends, they do serve beer and wine on the patio, but during the week, you do have to bring it up from downstairs. The room was super clean. I do like the decor in the bathroom. The black and white checkers is something I do like, and the view from the window was absolutely spectacular. The bed was soft and comfortable, and I have no complaints about the hotel at all. It was great. From Whiteville, we drove to Wilmington, North Carolina with a stop in Durham to stop and drop Grandma off at my uncle's. She's going to be staying there for a few weeks while Mom and I take our cruise. We rented a Verbo right on the Cape Fear River and had great views of the river, the Battleship, and wonderful sunsets. On the second day of being there, we decided to try to go down to Wrightsville Beach, and that was a fail. The traffic was just too much, so we came back to the hotel, did a little grocery shopping, and just kind of hung around, relaxed, did a little walking around, ate some lunch, and had some dinner, and just relaxed after the drive from Ohio. On day two, we woke up and went to the USS North Carolina. This was the Battleship North Carolina. This is a place that I'd been to many times as a kid. It's been years since I've been down there, but it was definitely did not disappoint me, even as an adult. It still brought in the same excitement and joy as when I was a kid. The Battleship has been going through a continuous renovation, and it still continues today. Sometime last year, it was definitely in a dry dock status where they replaced the hull and the steel from the hull as it was corroding in the salt water. The ship has pretty wide open access. You can gain most areas of the ship. A few were closed for renovations and just for safety hazards, and some were just not part of the tour. In the middle of the ship, there is a memorial to all North Carolinian citizens who perished in World War II. Very humbling. The amount of names on the walls was a nice little memorial for that cause. I took a lot of time here and just kind of reflected that these people gave their life for our freedom. From there, I kind of just went through some areas, went up to the officer's deck, saw the officer's quarters, went through the bunk area for the rest of the sailors, through the kitchens, and then ultimately ended up in the bottom of the ship where the ammunition was stored, and took some time to walk through there and just see all the different ammunitions and how it was loaded into the cranes and then transported to the top of the ship to be loaded into the guns. After several hours of being on the battleship, it was definitely warm. There's no air conditioning in the belly of the ship, and it was a summer day, so it was time for a break. Mom and I had a water taxi to get across the Cape Fear River from our condo, so we boarded the water taxi and went back across the river to downtown Wilmington. From there, it was lunchtime, so Mom and I decided to go to a German restaurant and have some lunch, and she was quite tired after the day of being in the heat, so she went back to the condo, and I decided to do some walking around. I did take her back some dinner, and she just wanted to stay in and watch the sunset, so I decided to explore a few of the pubs and bars. I found a speakeasy, which is one of my go-tos, spent a little bit of time in there and had a few drinks. From there, we drove to Florida and ended up in Florida. Mom wanted to go see the beach once we got down here and settled in, so I took her to the beach, got to see a little critter here just enjoying a nice snack while we were at the beach. She's been watching all these metal detection shows on YouTube, and she wants to get out metal detect, which we have not done yet, but we will. So I took her up to the Mel Fisher Museum in Sebastian, Florida. The Mel Fisher Museum was created in the early 90s by Mel Fisher to kind of show off some of the treasures he's found. Mel Fisher is a famous treasure hunter in the Florida area, especially where we live along the Treasure Coast. He was the one who discovered the 1715 Spanish fleet that perished right off the coast of our waters and was carrying just tons and tons of gold, silver, and jewelry on it. Also on the bucket list was Mom wanted to see a rocket launch, and since SpaceX launches rockets on a continuous basis, we found when they were launching the Falcon Heavy rocket, we drove up to about 20 miles from the Cape and found a spot on the beach in Melbourne Beach, and we got to see the rocket launch. Mom was very surprised. We could hear it and feel it once it got so high. And then obviously the two boosters, since it was a Falcon Heavy, did come back and land on the landing pads instead of the drone ship this time. And we got to witness those and hear the sonic booms of those coming back. So this was a great surprise for her to be able to witness this in person. That has concluded our trip up to this point. Mom and I will be heading off on our cruise here in several days, and then when we get back, there will be a few more days here in Florida before we then start our trip back north. So another video will be coming soon. Appreciate everybody watching, and thank you very much. There it is. All right, tell me, how was your first in-person rocket launch?
It was fantastic.
Amazing.
Amazing. Super.